guys, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. So as you have probably seen, I have already set up my January budget along with my January sinking funds. So my budget is all ready to go. I'm ready to get into tracking expenses and that whole process that goes along with it. Because a huge thing that I feel like I preach on my channel is that creating a budget is just the first step. The most crucial step in your budget is following through and tracking expenses and making sure that what you're budgeting is close to what you're actually spending. So today we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna pull some of my stickers from the back and I'm going to track some transactions with you guys. I feel like this is a helpful step, and then we will flip over and do our first weekly check-in. So one thing that I like to do is I like to dedicate a specific color to specific categories. So I think for simplicity, I will go ahead and write them in, put a little key over here, and then I can use that color coding system to track all of my expenses. So let's do groceries in this pink color. I know that I have some customs somewhere, but I want to make new customs with the new 2024 font. So for now, we're just going to use just my sloppy handwriting, but that is a really cool idea if you are looking to track things and you don't like your handwriting. If you want to have like categories all set up and ready to go for your weekly check-ins, custom scripts, a great option. So I always need groceries, eating out. I'm gonna do household and then gas for our cars. And this darker blue is a little bit harder to see. I can see it just fine on my end, but if you notice that some of the colors are a little bit darker, I do have like a white pen that I occasionally will use. I just don't have it here with me, so we're just gonna go with it. I know what color it is, and honestly, the only thing I really track on that other side is what car it is, just to kind of have an idea of how much we're spending per car. I do know that Jason's car gets the majority of the driving when it's all of us, and then my car we use when it's just one of us going somewhere. So his car definitely uses more gas for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into tracking. So I have certain categories that I like to track in my monthly view here. So we're gonna just start with those. Some of the items that I have on my pre-list here to track are allowances, and for simplicity I'm not going to do that, but just know that that is something that me and Jason do have. We have our own allowances. That's like just free money that we can use however we want throughout the month. We both get $200 per month, and I do keep track of that. It does roll over, so it's kind of like a sinking fund, but you won't see that in our monthly view. Just again, simplicity. It's not something that's like we have to really keep a huge eye on. I feel like we both have plenty of extra money. So we're not gonna track that, but let's go ahead and get other things in. So first thing is going to be Macy's Hot Lunch. I mentioned in my budget video, but we do include Macy's Hot Lunch in our grocery budget. So that was $72. She gets hot lunch 3 times a week. So I always fill that up or like order her food for an entire month at a time. So that's for the entire month of January. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mark that I recorded that because I want to just make sure that I'm keeping an eye on what I'm recording and what I'm not. Okay, so then we grabbed pizza from a place called Rocco Vino's. They do have half-price pizzas by us, and we can get a large 2-topping pizza for $13.95, which is honestly a pretty great deal. It's very good pizza as well. So we did that on Tuesday because it's every Tuesday that they have it. We haven't been the best, I'm gonna be honest, with going grocery shopping during the holidays. I feel like we've just had a lot of like leftovers and stuff from Jason's mom and dad. So we have done some grocery shopping, which you guys will see, but we've been eating out quite a bit as well. Next is going to be groceries again, and I'm just gonna, this is kind of an odd situation, but we ended up going to grab food for a bunch of people, and we had to use our card because they like gave us a gift card to use, but the gift card wasn't activated. So I'm gonna include this here, and I'm just putting it down as $100 because the gift card is $400 and we will use it for groceries. But just for the sake of everything, like we paid $100 to the person because we put it on our card. It just, I don't know. Anyway, it works out. So we're just gonna put $100 even though we have not spent $100 yet. That $100 will be carried over, and hopefully for simplicity we end up using it for groceries. I'm gonna try and make sure that Jason does that because that would make tracking very difficult on my end. Jason did fill up his car. That was $32.77, and that was on the 2nd. So these are my normal 7x9 expense tracking stickers, and you guys can see they fit perfectly in here, which is awesome. Okay, so we have that. Next, we have another grocery item. Woodman's does not take this type of credit card, so the like gift card that we had, so we had to use our normal credit card, and that was $13.08, and that was on Wednesday. It's kind of a messy situation with the gift card, and I'm not a huge fan of having to do it that way, but it's okay. And then Jason went to some type of like random store. It's called BK. I don't know what that stands for, but he had to get some special type of like sauce or something for a meal that we're having. So that was $8.67, and he went on Thursday. I feel like we normally don't have all of these random trips to grocery stores and stuff, but we did this week. Okay, so that is everything when it comes to our normal variable expenses. That's everything we've spent for groceries, for eating out, for household, and for gas for this week that we're recording. We're gonna move on to our transaction log for sinking funds next because we've had a couple transactions. So the first thing is going to be for trash. So we ended up paying for trash, and since that's like a one-time thing, I'm just gonna go ahead and just fill this out now. So we spent $57.45, and I am going to calculate what that ends up giving us as like leftover because this is done for the month now. So we had $47.62. We added $20 throughout the month, and then we spent $57.45, which brings us to a total balance of $10.17. So that is all good to go. We had enough in there to pay our trash, which is awesome. The next thing that we have is, I guess there's only one other transaction, and that is we used cash. So we got cash out and we used cash for some entertainment stuff. So I want to record that. Whenever we get cash out, it's kind of messy because I feel like, you know, people have extra money in their wallet and things like that. And so I try to like just be really good about making sure I record this correctly. So this was for our New Year's celebration, and it was for the arcade. So we always go bowling, and then we go out to get pizza for New Year's. That's always what we've done for like New Year's Eve. And Jason had some cash in his wallet that he used when we went to the arcade that they had there. So that was $60, came out of entertainment. Anything special like that, like, you know, if we would have went bowling or to the movies or on a date night, that would come from entertainment and vacation. So entertainment and vacation, we have a little over $1,500, so we have plenty there for that, which is awesome. So that concludes all of the transactions that I needed to track with you guys. Let me know if you guys want me to do this going forward, if you want me to track transactions with you guys before the weekly check-in. I feel like it's helpful to see how I kind of work through my list of transactions, all I'm doing is looking at our credit card and our regular bank to see what transactions have occurred and do it this way. So let me know if that's something you want me to continue doing. I really don't mind doing it that way if it's helpful for you guys to see. So next we're gonna move on to our weekly check-in, and this is where we're going to see how we're doing for the week, if we need to make any adjustments. Again, a huge part of this budgeting process is checking in, seeing how you're doing. So for week 1, we're going to track groceries. And again, this is where those custom scripts could come in really handy. Eating out, I think for February, I'll make sure I have them. Household, gas for our cars. And then I do always like to put an unbudgeted just so we can keep track of anything random that's popping up. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip back. All of the items for the weekly check-in are going to be from my monthly view. I don't really do a check-in for my sinking funds other than just like as I'm recording stuff, making sure that I have enough in those accounts, if that makes sense. So let's start with our groceries. And the way that I keep track, I really don't try and focus too much on like what day I'm doing these weekly check-ins and making sure that I include like a full week's worth. All I do is I make sure that it's as I am doing my check-in, I check off the little boxes so I know the next time I come to do my weekly check-in, I know where I'm at. Sometimes your weekly check-in will include a week, sometimes it may include 2 weeks, sometimes it may include just a few days. The main thing for me is I wanna make sure that the majority of the transactions that I anticipate for that given week are recorded. So for example, we did our grocery shopping. We're good. Like there's not really anything huge that's going to happen in the next few days. And so I feel like we're in a good spot there. But if you want to do your weekly check-in every Friday, do your weekly check-in every Friday. I just get that question quite a bit of like, oh, when do you do that? And how do you know that you know, had the full days and all of that? I don't worry too much about it. I just make sure that like the majority of my transactions are complete. And so that's the way that I kind of handle that. So we have the gift card of $100. We have hot lunch of $72. We have Woodman's, that was $13.08. And then we have the BK of $8.67. And again, that was just for some random sauce that Jason wanted for a meal. Okay, so that brings us to a total spent of $193.75. We always budget $200 per week, give or take. It just kind of depends. Like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this month, there are 5 Mondays or Tuesdays. And so it works out that it's $200 per week. But sometimes that may, you know, if there's only 4 weeks in the month, it may end up being a little bit more per week. So if I subtract out $193.75 from $1,000, we have $806.25. In this notes section, I typically like to kind of take a look at the number of weeks for groceries that we have left. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and I like to divide that $806.25 by 4 to see how much we have per week going forward. So we have $201.56 per week for groceries. So that is amazing. That's exactly what we want to see. Again, my goal is to have $200 per week. So awesome there. Next is going to be eating out, and we just had one transaction that was $13.95. So we can go ahead and put in $13.95. We do budget $300, so I'm gonna do 300 minus $13.95, and that brings us to $286.05. And again, divide that by, I like to do the number of weekends because that's typically when we go out to eat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, divide that by 4. We have about $71.51 per week. So we're doing really good there. Again, I'm trying this month to eat out a little bit less. I'm trying to get back onto my health and wellness journey. And so eating at home just is a little bit easier when it comes to eating healthy, at least for us. Okay, nothing for household, so we can put 0 there, and that means we have $200 per week. Or sorry, $200 remaining total. I'm not gonna put per week because it's not like we buy toilet paper every week. It's kind of like when you need it, so I'm just gonna leave that blank. Gas for cars, we did spend $32.77 for Jason's car, so let's go ahead and record that. $32.77. We budget $200, so $32.77. We have $167.23 remaining. So we're in good shape there, haven't spent too much. And then for unbudgeted, we have nothing. And we do budget nothing for unbudgeted, so the remaining is 0. So that is pretty much it when it comes to the weekly check-in. As you can tell, it's pretty basic. It's nothing too crazy. The categories that I'm tracking here are ones that we tend to overspend if we don't keep an eye on. So for us, I don't think groceries, we go overboard because honestly, Jason does a lot of the grocery shopping and I feel like he's really good about like trying to get as much as he can from like Aldi because it's a little bit cheaper. And then, you know, he's really good about meal planning and making sure that we're using what we have and not over purchasing things. So he's really good there. But when it comes to eating out, I think because we're so busy, because we have a lot of family in town, our family definitely loves to eat out and they love to like get together and get food. And so it tends to be the case that we are eating out quite a bit. So checking in and making sure that that's under control is really important. Household, I feel like we don't buy anything too crazy, but it is good to track that. And gas for our cars, honestly, there's not a ton we can do with that in regards to spending for that, because we do need to like go places, drop packages off at the post office, bring the kids to school, things like that. We're not going on huge road trips or anything, but again, just nice to see like if we are over budget, why we're over budget, and these categories are typically the reason why. So that is it for the weekly check-in. I think the only other thing that I wanted to do, because I just kind of remembered that I paid this, was we did get our gas bill for our home, and that was $76.20. So we were actually over by $26.20. So I'm putting that in negative. I think a big part of that being over is because one, I think it was in December, our furnace broke. And so we were using our oven to warm the house for like a couple days. And so that definitely was a big deal. I think our oven definitely is not as efficient, I think, as the furnace in keeping the house warm. But also it's starting to get colder, so we anticipate the gas going up and the electric going down. And so maybe in February I'll have to adjust and just increase our gas. I'll take a look at what we spent in February of last year to see what we should anticipate there. The only other thing that I'm doing as the month goes on is I'm just making sure that all of these items here that are fixed expenses are what they say they're supposed to be. So one big thing is I noticed that our preschool amount was wrong. So I need to, I'm gonna mark this out and put in the correct amount. So I don't know why this is different. 20807. So that means that this amount is wrong as well. And I'm just gonna mark it out for now. And again, I wanna just make sure that I'm keeping track of these things and making sure that these are the correct amounts, because sometimes like one of your fixed expenses, like for example, Hulu Live, it was $79.99. Randomly, it changed to $81.99. Same thing with Netflix. I feel like sometimes people, like these companies will send you an email, and I think I just get so many random emails that I maybe miss them. But that's an important thing, like just making sure your fixed expenses are staying what you expect them to be, and investigating any changes. So I'm gonna go back and look and just make sure that this amount hasn't been wrong for a while. Maybe we got a credit. I honestly have no idea, but I need to look into it. Regardless, we only paid $12.0807 this month. So that is it for this weekly check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see my budget planner in action. Today, I've gotten so many questions from you guys about, are you gonna show your budget planner some more? And guys, I am just as excited as you are to get into this planner. I think it's gonna be amazing, just having everything ready, set to go, and just making it cute as I have time and as I want to. So anyway, that is it for this weekly check-in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you guys are up and running with your January budget, if you've started your weekly check-in already for the first week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.
You said that you needed me like a cargo